executing a contract with a contractor to start this work in the next couple weeks. But when we were looking at this, obviously we have a lot of space on Pier, but we also have a ton of space here in front that is largely unprogrammed. And it's basically for lack of a better describe it, just dead space here. So we saw this as a potential opportunity to think about what you could do here, whether it's adding more planting, whether it's adding more seating, whether that's here or actually.
And as I remember, this is like this here.
Yeah, there's basically it's like a step down. There are steps down to the actual decking. There's not an easy way to make that fully accessible, so you have this at least upper area that's water adjacent, which is great, and also again a good opportunity because there's literally nothing here. Also, a way to actually improve what is the difference between standing here and standing here. On a day like today, maybe less so, but on a day like tomorrow, probably a 15 to 20 degree difference between the shade and the sun. So are there opportunities to have other sort of shade structures here, something to cover this plaza or something like that? You see them sometimes in smaller parks or similar to what you would have like in a backyard that you would have over a deck area, but is something like that make sense here? And would it activate the space more, or could this be used for different programming, whether it's live music or community-based organizations hosting events here? This is kind of a big open, when I say we really don't have an idea, this is kind of a big blank slate in terms of the space. Yes?
I would love to have it where we could have shade. So I look.
Wait, sorry, wait.
What? Excuse me.
Yeah. And you can load in because there's a ramp, which is sorry, you were saying about shade.
I would love to activate this space. I look at the space behind the library where it's fabulous having the space there with the trees, the tables and chairs, but hardly anyone goes there because there's no shade.
Right, there's zero shade there.
None at all. So it's a shame that space isn't used much. Anything you can do, I don't know what magic answers are, for a simple shade thing where it can become removable or not, to put here, I would love it. And I can't imagine people wanting to go and spend time there for much of the year if it's going to be direct sunshine.
Yeah, it could be pretty brutal. I mean, you do have a breeze, but even so, like, even on the river, it can be painful if that breeze stops for a few minutes.
And that breeze can become significant wind also. So
yeah, it
needs
also,
to be
right.
something
That's something to consider too, that something needs to be like a bit sturdier, probably, just because you will get a lot of wind. Not this time of year you will too, but I mean in the fall and in the spring it's super windy here. So thinking about that too, what that looks like.
Yes.
Whether it's, to your point, like a more permanent structure that provides shade, or if it's something that's removable, that's seasonal, that you sort of stake in and then you can remove and then reinstall once the better weather comes. Although it's hard to say what better weather is this year, but whatever the less offensive weather is.
Love to see more music there.
Yeah. And the pier itself, is the wood being replaced?
Yes.
Is it? So
We're doing the railings being replaced, the wood's being replaced. We're doing pile remediation underneath, which are the supports for the pier also. So all of that work is going to be taking place.
What's the schedule for that being completed?
We're starting in the next couple weeks. We have to do permitting, and some of the work is seasonal. So in terms of, we anticipate probably about a year, it could be less. But the restrictions on in-water work are not insignificant. So they give you windows you can work, then you have to stop work, then you can work again. So our contractor's trying to work around that and try to maximize when they can do the in-water work.
So before the summer of next year?
Yeah, that is the goal. That's what we want to do. Because we know it's been closed for too long. And so we really want to get this moving.
So, over the years, there have been various attempts to have outdoor vendors here. There have been food vendors here. There were outdoor tables and chairs that were here over the years. One of the problems with the outdoor tables and chairs was that sometimes the wind blew them into the water.
Yeah.
Or sometimes people threw them into the water.
That's also fair.
But tables and chairs here, which would not be thrown into the water with umbrellas.
That were
would be,
right. At some locations, they have them. Actually, against they have them bolted into, so that you actually can't move the tables. You can move the chairs, but you can't move the tables. I mean, you'd have to look at something that would actually, because the wind too will knock over something that's like a sort of a cafe, like a light cafe table. You have to have something a little bit more significant, but it is a good opportunity for more seating too.
I think one of the
significant tables and chairs bolted into the dock here. I mean, they have that along the.
Yeah, they have it. I mean, right? They have it in the South Street Seaport too. Like
Yeah.
you can design it in a way.
Make it permanent.
Yeah, and there are materials that can withstand like this type of salt
Exactly.
exposure, this type of wind, this type of weather.
This is another great venue. It would be
Yeah.
beneficial to have like an amphitheater.
And you have two levels too. Of some
bandstand. I mean, it would be.
right, and you would actually have these benefit from having these two levels of sort of waterfront. If you don't want to be like where the spray hits you, but you want to get some sort of breeze, you can at least be up in this area.
Would you be up open to that idea of like some sort of amphitheater setting here? I love that idea.
I mean, I think we would be open to any opportunities, to be honest. Like if that's something people are interested in, I would encourage you to like put it in the survey for sure, because again, it does create like a unique opportunity. Just because you have a lot of space, even just this section here. I mean, being able to set up something here would work pretty well, I think, actually. Because then you could have seats here, and you have kind of a stage, but you could also build a stage behind this sort of granite.
Yeah, I mean, and having food venues, food trucks down here, or venues down here for people to, you may, if people are coming over the island, you want to try to encourage them to stay on the island and spend money on the island.
I guess it's something to partner with local restaurants to have them have pop-ups or something like that. So it's keeping business local. Right. This idea that like you actually have like this great opportunity to cross promote local businesses. It's also complicated like logistically because actual trucks will take up most of the space.
Right.
But the idea is like trying to do some sort of partnership, like taste of that lots of neighborhoods do. You do like a taste of the neighborhood where everybody gets a table, they set up, and they have like food that they serve from. Then it gets, to your point, it gets people to go to restaurants. Or the next time they come to the island, they'll come to local restaurants because they've tried it and they have the opportunity to try it.
One of the past ideas that was considered here was putting tables and chairs here, where and menus with items from all of the local restaurants, so that people could see what's being offered at the local restaurants, and then call to have the local restaurants.
Oh, you mean like a sort of like a composite list
Yeah.
of all the. Oh,
Yeah.
That's also good.
And then have them come and deliver, so we're both benefiting the local restaurants and we're providing an amenity
Yeah,
for people.
I mean that's a great
Yeah.
idea too, right? A way to actually just to find a way to tie it in the two together.
Yeah. And one of the problems though with food vendors here and also with music was the electricity. There was no place for electricity, I think, here. Do you know anything about that?
I think that I know that there's no, on the pier there's none. I think you can tap into light poles.
But it wasn't sufficient.
It's probably not enough
Yeah.
amperage. We'd have
Yeah.
to figure out, probably have a portable system or have them bring in their own system to do it, and just make sure that it doesn't exceed like noise levels where people will complain about sort of reverb in their apartments, since we do have apartments that are right here.
Well, best not to have people bring in their own stuff. It's best to have something set up here.
Right, or to have specifications for what we allow, and then make sure that they bring that in.
In the rebuild, they tried to have food here, but with the health department, you can't have food in a non-refrigerated space. So that meant that the waiter had to run up, put the order in, and it just didn't work. It was a shame because they were really great. The liquor seemed to be able to get here better, but the food was a real trouble. And while we're rebuilding it, why don't we just put electric outlets in? And why don't we put toilets down here? You get here, and there's no damn bathroom. And we need toilets. That will attract people because you're going to go down there. Where are you going to go? Starbucks. Okay, Starbucks. There's nothing up here. There are no public bathrooms. You can't build without toilets. Enough is enough. Half the people come into the visitor center. I send to Sports Park during the week when they're open. It's disgraceful. What were you building this whole big thing? You're spending a fortune of public money, and there's not one toilet down here. There's something the matter with the planning on this island. You can't do this.
Also, if you do put toilets, you put it further in the middle of the island. That's another attraction to have people coming into the middle, moving into the middle of the
tell
island.
people, go up to the ball field. I mean, it's a public venue. You're going to have tables and chairs. You put a bathroom in.
But I would just couch that by saying like it's every location. You can't put a bathroom in every location.
What is it? Where's the closest RIOC bathroom? Where's the closest one? Sports Park.
Sports Park or in Civic Madison. But I'm saying like in terms of this particular location, like if it's feasible, we can look at obviously putting a restroom or some sort of restroom facility. It would be very small. We wouldn't have like a full size because it would take up a lot of the space.
How much would a portable concrete bathroom take up? Come on.
It would
Because it's
detract
not-
from the
because-
area.
Because
Oh, come on.
you have to run in water and electric, and you have to have like a utility room. Like there are spatial constraints.
I understand, but this happens all the time on the island. We still don't have a bathroom at firefighters field. Every single time that we ask for bathrooms, it's like, oh God. I mean, it's disgraceful. It's to spend public money on not the bathrooms and make people go into the sanctuary
Well,
beg into the
I would say more generally, we are planning for bathrooms in our parks and public spaces. We can look at it again as an option for here too. But a bathroom can't go everywhere. It's just the reality of it. Even the ones.
but everybody was in human beings.
I know, Judy, I understand, and I also worked in a place that was a park space for 7 years, like where people complained all the time about we didn't have enough bathrooms. Like it's very fair, but also it's just a matter of like, do we have hookups?
You build hookups when you're renovating the place.
But we're not. But I understand. But again, like if we choose to do a full renovation of the space, then that's something we can look at.
What are you doing now?
We are getting feedback to what we could potentially
I
do
mean, what's the plan to start this month? What's the construction plan? Just to
for
fix the roof?
just to fix the pier and the railings. Yeah, that's and the piles. That's what we're starting. We're not doing this. This is part 2, phase 2.
And
Marble floors are-
is there either for this pier or for other sections of this, is there a component of it that would include like more seawalls and sort of permanent structure, or is it really limited to like
So,
pilings and things that can
It
stand?
depends. So at the prow, which is a bit different,
Yeah.
the structural supports are different. So there is some geotechnical work that's happening to figure out if there's other shoring that needs to be done. It's part of, obviously the island is surrounded by a seawall in various different states. So in looking at it, these piles are going to be encased in concrete, which acts as a barrier in many ways. At the prow, we're still trying to figure out what we have to put in place because of the shape of the structure, the materials, and what's actually supporting it underneath. So it's possible that it may require doing some sort of perimeter protection.
All right, I think we're going to go ahead and head down to our next yellow one.
How can we do it without